Bards Tale was the progenitor of computer role-playing games, released back in 1985, and was a groundbreaking title in many ways that very few games at the time could captivate in the same way for the time. It was developed by Interplay Productions, Inc., and published by Electronic Arts for a variety of computers, such as the Apple II, Atari ST, ZX Spectrum, IBM PC, Commodore 64, and also for the Amstrad and Amiga line of computers. The game's inspiration for its fantasy role-playing setting was inspired by tabletop role-playing games such as Dungeons & Dragons and Tunnels & Trolls. Due to the lead creators of the game, Brian Fargo and Michael Cranford, were inspired to make a game in the style of a D&D campaign, after their many gaming experiences with TSR's Dungeons & Dragons tabletop role-playing game. But also their inspiration lied elsewhere in addition to Dungeons & Dragons, that being the Wizardry and Ultima series of games, where Cranford noted that they wanted to make a game that was a significant step up from the Wizardry games on the Apple II, and wanted to have superior graphics and sound, which fell short of in my judgment. In addition, mechanics such as enemy and loot randomization, dice rolls to determine the chance to hit enemies, and with game in a first-person perspective, was heavily, as mentioned previously, by the Wizardry series, but Cranford, alongside the help of Brian Fargo, wanted to make a game in the style of an RPG in the first-person perspective, which for role-playing games at the time was few and far between, and at this point was only seen in a handful of games such as the Apple II game Archibald World Doom from 1979, and Dungeons of Daggerath from 1982 for the Tandy TRS-80 color computer. So now that the brief history for the game is out of the way, let's talk about the gameplay of The Bard's Tale. So first off, we start the game in the main hub of the game, the self-proclaimed Adventurers Guild. From here, we are given a multitude of options, such as adding a pre-existing member to add to your party, removing a member from your party roster, creating a new member for your party if you want to make your own, deleting a member from your party if you want to start over or replace with a new and improved character, save your party for future adventures, leave the game and exit to DOS, or enter the city of Skara Brae. And now that you've put together a somewhat efficient and selective band of adventurers who will now be your aid in various things throughout your experience. The latter includes stuff such as exploring the rooms that occupy each individual house in the town, whether that be because you're trying to find houses with randomized loot, or because a monster pops out of nowhere in front of you and wants to fight. And what happens when you want to advance with fighting the variety of beasts, magic casters, undead, and other such creatures. Action and dice rolling, that is, which in mechanics/rules that is used in this game is a turn-based setting of combat which was commonly found in the tabletop role-playing game Dungeons & Dragons and Advanced D&D, which is normally accompanied by you choosing the action with what you want your current party member to do, from attacking/spellcasting to defending/hiding, advancing forward to get closer to an encounter, such as the following classes: Warrior, Paladin, Hunter, Bard, Rogue, Magician, and Conjurer. What is the objective of the game? Well, to go exploring the town of Skara Brae, fight enemies when you encounter them to get experience points to level up your characters, and gold to buy equipment/weapons, as well as to stash them away to heal party members at the respective temples, and also die over and over again. Yes, this game is a difficult one, but it is a product of its time and that of the mind of its creators, Brian Fargo and Michael Cranford. And for that, I can't do anything less than commemorate them for their amazing work on this legendary game, and an even more legendary series spanning 4 games, with the addition of even a construction set called the Bards Tale construction set, released 6 years after the original, which was a lot like those generic universal role-playing system tabletop role-playing game books by Steve Jackson Games. So, what else can I say about the gameplay? Well, it's fun, engaging, and captivating with what it delivers, and to that I say a lot. From plundering dark trap-triggered dungeons, to exploring an expansive vivid wilderness, to battling with some of the most dangerous, challenging, and arduous of monsters, from beholders, dragons, and hydras, to liches, werewolves, and even samurais. Anyway, with that in mind, do I recommend you check this game out? Absolutely. But keep in mind, this is, as mentioned before, a product of its time. Therefore, get used to level up your characters through a lot of grinding, the easier to overcome enemies before doing anything that can permanently screw you over by either going into the dungeons earlier than you're supposed to, when your weapons versus the deadly monsters are as useful as a wielding a sword made out of breadsticks, accompanied by armor that has as much protection as wearing a cardboard box. Well, the other way that you might find yourself in a precariously dangerous situation is when you decide to attack any of the statues dotted around the town that, for curious adventurers, will annihilate you without a moment's notice. So, if you want to try this game out for yourself, the original version of the game is completely free to download from many DOS game websites, as well as available as a packing game, the Bards Tale Trilogy Remaster, on Steam if you prefer a more modern version if you so choose. But it's still the Bard's Tale, regardless of which version you play. My personal favorites being the Apple II and DOS version, but it's unreal for a game of this age and this scope of technical limitations in both software and hardware to be so consistently excellent in its gameplay, music, graphics, and innovation. If you're a fan of the CRPGs, then this is the game for you. And even if you haven't played any of the role-playing game this style as old as this before, then give it a chance. Then who knows, maybe you'll encounter some epic loot and fight some of the most fiercest monsters that are on offer and live to tell the tale.